All right. I will call this meeting to order on Thursday, January 11th, 2024, 7 o'clock. Present are Kevin, myself, Judy, Eric, Michael, and Gail. And on Zoom, we have Sherry and Nancy and David
Thank you.
and Kim. Welcome, everyone. We'll review the agenda. Is there anything about this agenda that we need to talk about now?
I would like to add discussing appealing those common level appraisals,
Yeah. New business,
that's under financial.
financial, that makes sense. Can we find out?
What?
Yeah, it'd be nice. All right,
Well, it should self-resolve because the reappraisal, it should be at a
Right.
1. But just in case it's not, we don't want to leave it at 60.
Yeah.
We need to appeal.
all right, anything else? Feel good about the agenda? Okay,
It's long.
yeah, all right, let's get through it. We got the minutes. You had a chance to review the minutes.
The only thing I noticed with the minutes was, in the speed limit enforcement about the middle of it,
Mhm.
it says Sheriff Fox that advised. I think we can get rid of the that.
Mm,
Other than-
advised, yeah.
Otherwise, I thought it was good.
And then Kim Barbara wasn't here.
He was on Zoom.
Well,
Yes,
No, he wasn't.
Sorry.
what
Kim
Barbo.
Was or was not?
was not.
for
Was
Sheriff.
not.
All right,
Just assume he's always in the background. Because if you don't say he's there, you tell him he is.
all right, any, thing else? Make a motion to approve?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes as noted.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect.
So you have to tell me again where that is.
It's in the, middle of the paragraph on the right-hand side, right after Sheriff Fox.
Okay, because of that at the bottom and that, and at
No,
that
Sheriff Blue.
places. Thank you.
All right, citizens input? Sherry?
Can't hear you.
There, I wouldn't unmute. I wanted to follow the rules about making comments at the select board meeting rather than interject during the meeting. And I also want to recognize, I know there's going to be a community meeting on the 16th, but I feel these two comments need to be made. One was, it was suggested at a previous select board meeting that the allotments be voted on individually. I would like to suggest that this idea be put to a vote to the citizens of Timoth to decide. There are pros and cons to both voting on the allotments this way and keeping them the way they have been, but they need to be discussed. I really don't think we should rush into doing this. We should take our time considering the request and make a decision for the elections in 2025. The second suggestion or comment I have is it's also suggested that rather than having the voters choose the road commissioner, that perhaps the select board should make an appointment. I'd also like to suggest that the voters should choose the method in which we get a road commissioner. And since this is the year we're voting our road commissioner, I think now is not the proper time to make this decision. I think we should study the pros and cons and ask the voters to choose what they'd like to do in 2025. And that's it.
Thanks, Sherry. Mhm. Anyone else? All right. Moving on to highway. Eric?
Pretty self-explanatory, I guess.
Yeah,
No real issues, snow, ice, and we're working off our list, in the meantime. We got the approval back for the hay trees for the grant. So I
Mhm.
was wondering if I can get permission to order said culvert and get it here for springtime installation.
what's the timeline on getting something like that?
I don't know. It's anybody's guess at this point. I mean, we got the grant. The grant is now back to us, so we got to go ahead to do it. So I'm assuming if I get it ordered and dropped at the shop, then it's here. Not in someone else's pocket. Then we can plan a time for Dan to dig it up and install it in the spring, but it's not gonna hurt it to sit. For,
Right, what size culvert is that?
I think it's gonna be a 6 foot round, 50 feet long. I just gotta call Josh. His, it's got fish baffles in it, but he doesn't say how many and where he wants them, so that's the only thing I gotta call him. Find out what, because they weld those in before they, coat it.
Right,
So that's the only thing, but I wasn't gonna call him and.
So if it's got baffles, are we doing stone in the bottom too?
It's a natural, cause it becomes a confined space now,
Mhm.
so they're not making us. Put the material in by hand anymore, so they're letting Mother Nature fill those.
Okay.
It's buried in a
Mhm.
ways, I don't remember what the number is, but it is. A foot or 18 inches or something like that, and then Mother Nature's supposed to wash some stuff in there. But
and then are we running into how much is on top and what is there, what's
it
that?
should be all right, the cover, I mean, we'll figure it out, we gotta tip it. He wants it tipped more. Because it's what they call a perched culvert now, it's got a big drop off.
Yeah,
And that's been rip wrapped, so I don't think a fish could get up it anyway. But, and I don't believe a fish would. Not my thing, but I'm just, that end's gotta go down to get to the stream bed.
Yeah.
So I don't think coverage is gonna be a problem.
Okay.
But
yeah, I don't see why,
If it's here, then it's a lot easier for planning. That's all, I mean, we could wait a month to order it if we want to,
Yeah.
but I bet it's gonna be
Mike is,
6 weeks.
And so, Eric, is this the culvert right next to Patriots, the seasonal culvert? It doesn't flow year round. There are times when it does, though, but there are no fish. There are no fish that go through there.
Agreed.
Why was it designated as a, you know,
Not the fish guy.
I mean, that should be marked that is a seasonal, seasonal.
Right, it doesn't need a stormwater permit,
Right,
so,
so why are we putting baffles in?
cause that's what he called for,
ooh,
it's on the drawings, the fish guy. He came out and looked at it,
Stream alteration, Josh Carter.
Carmen Hall is a,
Yeah. I know it's a lot of.
it's a G and an H in there, or V or something. But that's what he spent,
Yeah.
so. Oh, they're not big deal, I think there's usually 4 of them in there as well. It's not a big deal. Just holds I think it helps hold gravel in there more than anything.
Yeah.
Cause the ones on the other roads, you can't even see them, they're filled with gravel.
Nothing else?
So we have been joined by somebody else on the Zoom.
Oh, yeah, Alex. Hi, Alex.
Hey, I'm feeding my kids ice cream in the kitchen, so that's why my video's off. But I finally made it to a meeting.
Welcome. Oh,
Hi.
we also have Melody and Marshall Squire also attending the meeting. Welcome. All right, so next up is the West Tinmouth Road Maintenance.
do you wanna do the fire?
You want
Oh,
to-
sorry. Yep,
We got done this, if somebody moved it.
would either
So-
of you like to make a motion to?
I'll make a motion to allow them to get the culvert ordered.
I will second that.
All in favor? Aye. All right. West Tinmouth Road Maintenance. What's up with this?
In your packet, you have a copy.
Oh, yeah, I see
Good
this.
ones.
Yeah, that's one.
It's expensive.
And it's here when Kevin was.
Yeah.
He didn't feel comfortable to sign off on it,
No.
I thought the board should talk to him.
Yeah,
But should be at the very beginning, Kevin.
And
it's right after.
Yeah, I've looked it over, so. This is. An issue.
So. Do we have the ability to have any kind of breakdown of what the past person was doing? Like, do we have that?
Just money wise.
What
In terms of
happened
how-
In the past was Phil Hayes and Greg Sears.
Yep.
Plowed Gulf Road and McCoyville.
Right.
Turns out they also kicked out these other two occasionally. If Wells didn't get there first, then Wells would come through and clean it up after.
Hmm.
Wells never cleaned his charges for it. Neither did Phil or Frank. Eric put it on the bid to cover those two places. So those two little spits of road are now being charged for. And I did look up what we've paid for the last 5 years.
Yeah,
The high was 6,000, the average was 3, couple years, it was 2 or under.
feels a
So-
little bit like, our roadside mowing, like something like. We had a system set up with someone and then. It's
So,
changed and maybe.
But we have
inflation
a,
is
we
higher
have
than
a,
expected.
we have a, how we would like that handled,
Yeah,
and it just seems excessive.
what part of this is excessive? Like more sanding than is necessary, more? Like, I haven't been plowing roads, so,
I've plowed
Um,
driveways and during the month of December, I didn't plow a single one. These guys were
But the-
out
yeah.
very minimal.
We've been out multiple times. I mean, to give them credit, I mean, you do get what you pay for.
yeah, I'm
So,
sure it's
And
very well,
I
very nice.
spoke to, the guy who lives Torrance, what's his last?
Torrance,
Torrance.
Stefan.
I talked to him this morning and I said, you know, how do you feel? And he goes, "You guys are great.
Yeah.
This is doing a great job." So
Yeah,
that's,
But he's plowing and he plows and sands. And then the very next day, he's sanding again. I don't, in multiple instances, I don't understand that. We didn't get, I can't imagine we got enough precipitation after plowing and sanding to warrant sanding again the next day. They're dirt roads. It's not pavement. If we get in the night, pavement's one thing. These are dirt roads.
but the reason, one of the reasons here is $3,790, which is
it's,
for
lot.
November and half of December.
yeah,
And we have a lot of winter to go. And
Oh,
we have
yeah.
budgeted $6,800, so
so,
is there another way that this year? I
This,
don't
it
think we
is,
can do anything about it,
yeah, no, I mean,
but
I'm,
this is budget time, so I think you need to think about next year, is there a more efficient way to do it?
well, we need
Or
to
you
explore it.
Increase the budget by, double.
No, I think we need to explore another option, because if this is what it's gonna be. I think we need to explore another option, whether that entails utilizing Glenny to run over there to do it. Using our own guys to run over there and do it.
Yeah,
I
we have
just,
to think
this
about it.
seems excessive to me.
yeah. And is it worth having just a conversation, say, look, this is already outside of our budget? You know, do the minimum, is that what we wanna ask for, is the minimum amount of work?
Or could we ask for, what was your thought process?
I mean, the sanding right out, again, I'm not a road person, so your opinion is that,
you may have had the same the next, I mean, we
yeah,
often have to go the next day, like this
Yeah.
morning and yesterday.
Yeah.
and Again tomorrow. So, I mean,
Kevin and I compared the road crews time sheets to these,
yeah,
and the road crew is not doing double like this guy was, just so you know, so I don't know,
Oh.
maybe you need to have Eric or Eric and Kevin have a conversation with Mr. Martell and say, hey, you knocked their socks off. You need to figure this out, but
would you two be comfortable with
like-
that?
Yeah, so like Ronnie goes out and he plows and sands all the dirt roads. What, yesterday morning? Okay,
of
so,
plows.
okay, so what'd you say? He plowed this morning?
Didn't plow.
He didn't plow this morning. So yesterday morning he was out, he plowed and sanded all of their roads. We got enough precipitation last night that warranted him to go out and sand all of their roads again this morning.
It was the ice coming up from the bottom. You probably could have got away with it, but it depends on how, you know, I've had complaints. So are we
And
taking the complaints next level? I
So,
mean, what do
and
you-
then
Right,
the
we
other
don't
thing
wanna-
too is I understand maybe. We have more populated dirt roads in this town.
Right,
Those two dirt roads that he is doing. They got 2 residents on them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't wanna, it's just,
One
man,
has
this seems,
one has one.
I mean, I get why, like I said, our dirt roads are more populated than these.
Right.
I'm not saying that. I just think it's excessive. I could be wrong. I feel this is excessive in a month that we didn't have very much snow.
What worries me is we haven't had any real drifting yet this year. And I know that road, Gulf Road
Drifts.
on the other side. If you don't get out in the field and cut some snow roads in there, you might plow that 3 or 4 times a day.
Well, then maybe we should run over and do that ourselves.
So-
Anything that's gonna cut this. Cause what, I mean, yeah, like you said, we get it, like, we actually do get a snowstorm and it drifts. Was this guy gonna hit us with who knows?
Right, he did give us the option. We thought 12 was out of the ballpark. maybe
That's what
reality.
I just don't want him to look at having a town contract as a cash cow. I don't want him to be.
Well, I mean, I think he's doing, I'm gonna assume he's doing, you know, he just is doing a really good job, which is what he's doing. It's just that that is a new person and their budget is, you know, their cost is different than what we've had before. I think it'd be worth having the 2 of you go over and have a conversation, to let him know this is how we're feeling and we're a little surprised, and if it's worth talking about, I think having you together, I don't know how you feel about that, Judy, having them go.
I mean, honestly, I was shocked. I was trying to remember what days it snowed,
Yeah.
but I don't drive my car every day, so it's sometimes hard to know what's happening, especially on the other side of the mountain.
Yeah.
The other thing is I talked to Dan's thinking about plowing the school.
Okay.
And they switched his insurance, so now it does not cover snowplow.
Mm,
So.
Yeah.
Snow plowing now is an extra $5,000 a year.
For
Okay.
insurance.
Insurance,
Just for the insurance.
Just
Yeah,
for the
I can't do
insurance.
it either.
yeah,
So that may be part of it,
right.
you know. That's nothing that we can do anything about.
So this year we're already. We've,
You're committed,
just
but
want-
you're also asking
We're
them to do
committed to
something.
it, but I just want to stress to him to kind of just use,
be
Some-
conservative in
yes,
his approach. I think
Yeah.
that would be worth it to have that conversation, and then I definitely think we do need to think about
next year.
something different for next year. 'Cause
Yep.
This is a really, it also just feels like a really inefficient. You know, inefficient to have our crew go over there, inefficient to be paying this much for such a small stretch of road.
But if we're gonna. Okay, so December, we didn't get much snow.
Yep.
So this is the least amount we're gonna pay.
Oh, yeah. So go have a conversation and then let us, if you can have that conversation before our next meeting and let us know. How that goes. But yeah, I don't know, beyond you two talking to him and asking if there can be any way of just a little,
Discrepancy and
and then, you know, we'll just have to really think about this and think of ways we can. Do this differently. Solid. Any other ideas, Judy?
Have we ever tried contracting with Middletown Springs or Wells to have them hit those areas?
That was the other, I was thinking that too, if we could have a conversation with Wells, see if they'll just, we can just give them.
Yeah.
X amount of dollars a year, just. You know,
I mean, they're over there. It's,
yeah, they'd have to cross the road.
yeah,
They have to come down and turn around someplace anyways.
Right,
Is
they're
that-
coming out Wells Brook Road anyway. across
Yeah.
the road and get going, and then-
who would have that conversation? Would you be up for that?
Good.
Asking for, I mean, we're thinking next year, so it's not something,
Right, we're tied into
but
this.
if we can know what it would cost for next year, that would be super helpful.
My office, the town clerk. over there, so I could
Do-
figure that
So
out.
when Eric and I go hit, talk to him. Do I need permission to bring a check with me?
No, I have the check here. If you
Okay,
want. If you're gonna
alright.
do it in the next couple of days. Here's the check right here. You can give it to me.
Okay,
Otherwise, I'll put it in the mail.
well, how, what do you,
Just put it in the mail.
Well, I'm assuming that you're gonna authorize it to get paid.
Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately.
I
So,
mean, it's certainly
yeah,
worth having, it was
Yeah, I
good to
guess
have the
mail.
conversation, so,
Not that you're not gonna pay it.
yeah. We were just a little surprised.
You could say, we're bringing this to you because we have concerns and we want to have a conversation with you. So can I give this to you and you think it's so?
whatever you feel is best, mailing it or me taking it, I don't care.
Asking you too, what you want to do. Are you gonna be able to see them the next day or two?
I-
just mail it.
Yeah. just
I
mail it.
can't tomorrow, so yeah, mail it.
Just mail it.
And you might not be able to do
It'll be on the-
Right.
yeah. Say, right, get over it.
All right. Well, let us know how that goes at our January 25th meeting. All right. School year 25 highway budget. There should be a
So
drawn on.
Eric had some suggestions that I typed up.
Mhm.
I think what you have on the salary was 7%.
No, it's.
Was it? It was 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I took it as a 7 from the sheet that I had.
Yeah, I was just playing with numbers there. I thought there was a, my question that you already answered was the one, that 2023 2023 budget.
This was an
versus last year's.
attachment on the
Five.
back,
Oh, on the way back.
right, but these numbers are not 5%.
They're based on 7,
They're based on 7. Because
Well,
when I
we're-
looked at this, I saw a 7.
and we're doing 5.
No, we were doing 3.
Oh,
I did the
I thought we
budget
did
at
5
3.
last year.
We did 5 last year, but the
Oh.
CPI this year is 3, so that's why I
Oh.
used 3.
Got you.
Eric is asking for more. That's what you need to understand. Anybody else?
So Gail explained to me that the difference in line 2, 2023 budget versus actual was because of the town garage.
Right.
So that-
This 27, they made the missing, that $10,000 was actually made up when they were working on the town garage. It shows up in another part of the budget.
So that one's figured out.
Mhm.
I thought we had a. problem
Surplus.
there, But it's not. I mean, I guess it's.
Yeah.
The extra help, I just bumped it to 30,000, cause it's 2930. It's very easy, but you can, that was all I had. Diesel fuel, I think we should go to 35. It's at 32. Salt, I'd like to keep at 45 and then whatever we have left over again, we can go into,
Mhm.
gravel.
Well, We have it at 35 for this year. That's why I put it for 35 for next year. We have,
Yeah,
we have reduced it last year to 35 because we'd only spent 27.
I didn't realize that. Well,
So,
you guys do what you feel is right. I just don't wanna go over budget,
Yeah. On
so.
So keep it at 35.
That saves you 10 grand. Well, we'll see. I had a question on line 20, our gravel and stone. Are actual, but I did remember that we pulled some salt. We had some extra salt money and we turned it into gravel, so that's what. The number's off, I mean, it's bigger than I thought it was.
But you're right, it was authorized.
Yeah.
It was, we used something else, but it
Yeah.
needs to show that we used it there.
Yeah, I was,
We did pull out all of the invoices today and Trish looked through them to see if there was any GIA or anything else allocated on there other than just plain gravel.
paving, I kind of think we ought to add some money in paving. But I know if we can't, we can't. But it's been at 100,000 since I started here.
Hmm.
And that was 8 years ago.
The last 20 years, it's been 100,000.
Well, when I started, we were getting, I think, 1.4, 1.2. Now last year we got 0.8 miles out of 100,000, so.
I'd like to see us mill too, because that will
Yes, ma'am,
increase the
but it's,
for the pavement.
but the value, I mean,
I
the
know.
problem is if you mill it, you get way less.
Yeah,
You know, cause you gotta put that 2 inches back down first and then top it. So that's where it goes from 0.8 of a mile to 0.5 of a mile.
yeah.
And then people are going, you spend $100,000 on half a mile road? So,
The pavement weighs quite a bit too, and if we just keep adding to it, that's not gonna help
Right.
either.
yeah. Um. So
Yeah,
that's. Winter contract we've already talked about, that, that's line 28.
Well, but we're gonna need to put a,
Or 20,
we're gonna need to put a different number in. That's,
26.
you know, it's 8,000 for 6,800 for this year, but it's, no, is it gonna need to be 12? Is it gonna need to be 15?
Wanna put a 10 in there?
yeah, I think, you know,
Not, no one,
Not really, but
I mean.
I mean, he offered to do the contract for 12. That was the other option was. So
And that seemed.
it
really
seems
unflat
so
Yes.
because
high,
We had budgeted $6,800.
Yeah, and that's why I'm wondering if. I don't
but.
know.
But you got
But you
paving.
are trying to think about a better way to do it.
Yeah,
Right.
no,
But if we have that number in there. And, you know, so say we couldn't figure out any other way of doing it. We would probably go for the 12.
Be a little bit closer.
Sounds better, right? So then if that's our option and then we're going forward, we can say, well, I would rather budget for it and have it come up. Be able
Right,
to
I
come
mean-
up with a better solution than,
like I said.
Yeah.
I mean. Even if we just utilize Glenny. He said he would, so.
right,
28 for roadside mowing.
Hang on, what number did you
I,
decide?
I would say at
26.
least 10 for the winter contracts for now.
Okay,
And hope that it can come up underneath, does that sound?
I was thinking 12.
I mean, 12 would be what we would have to pay, so that would.
Well. Not according to that, he's gonna exceed that,
Well, right, I'm just saying that was what our other option. was.
right,
So that's the number that would be. If we were going to be budgeting to contract it out, I feel like that's the number that's.
Right.
That we should use, I agree, 12 is. I was being conservative, I agree with 12, I agree with 12.
so is that consensus or what's the plan? What's the number you want to put in there?
you can put 12 in there, but it's.
And then hopefully we don't have to.
not
put
gonna
something
be.
less. I mean, it's.
20, we move on.
What are
Maybe.
we on, 28?
I'm thinking 28.
Yeah.
We took out, that's a 0.
Yeah,
I don't know how we wanna do it, but I think we should put something into the equipment fund.
Yeah.
From roadside mowing to be able to replace that machine when the time comes.
mhm,
And I don't know, however we wanna do it, and whatever the number wants to be, I wrote down 5,000. again, that would be just something for you guys to think about.
Yeah.
Um, That would just help out the equipment fund. And then I think that's all I got for now.
So that should actually probably be added to the equipment fund line
Right.
as opposed to putting 5,000 in there.
Yeah, I
Like
didn't,
we would
directed-
just take
it's
out the
directed
roadside
to-
mowing line.
For 5,000 is a big jump in the equipment fund line. I mean, we went from, if you go down to line 35 there, from 71.5 to 77.5 this year. That's a big jump. You're gonna add another 5 to that, then
And we can get into that now, or we can wait talking about the equipment fund.
well, I think it's
Seems-
next on the agenda, and part of
Yeah.
the reason for that is that it deals with this.
And yeah, I think this is certainly something we need to like,
So the thing that I noticed was that the grader didn't get updated in that equipment fund.
right,
When Kathy just did it, she sent it around yesterday or the day before. The grader got left at where we had it. I think it's gonna cost us a lot more than that, so.
Yeah,
So I don't know if you want her to redo it with the grader in there.
yeah,
I mean, I had a conversation with her today and she said that when it first started out, we were replacing a couple of trucks and, a
Right.
loader every 10 years. And now there's all this other equipment that's
yeah,
scrambling for a place and how much, can town of 550 people afford?
I'm thinking
So
I mean, I think it's
the grader's
something.
gonna have to-
I think we should. We'll set the number for this year. When I read Kathy's email, we have a little bit of wiggle room to think about, take a year, and make that be a project for next year, is thinking about this fund and what's in the fund, what can we afford to replace? What can we not replace?
Well, his truck is coming up. That's priority.
Yeah, I mean, that's
More
all,
of a priority than the grader.
His truck,
I'm just clarifying.
I think so.
Okay.
we might have to be more gentle with the grader because it lasts long.
right,
I mean, I know our grader's old, but I think the truck is more priority than the grader.
well, if the grader goes down, it's not the end of the world. That's
the truck goes down, it's a bigger deal.
It's kind of.
I mean, I do think I think like, in that email, there was the option to raise the rate, going up from, I don't know if you saw those numbers, what it was. Right now it's set at 2.5%. If we go up to 5%, we would be fine, but then we'd be looking at like a really big difference in like 10 years. And I think trying to think through all of this before this budget is not reasonable. I think, at least in my opinion, I think it needs to be really considered. I think there's a lot that needs to be considered in terms of what, and I think there's new things we have to think about, like how now we have equipment for mowing the roads. And now we're gonna maybe be driving across town. What is that? We're gonna be on our trucks and. Anyway,
One of the things that, a couple of things that I would like to look into is possibly putting the truck out to bid. Doing up what we want and putting it out to bid. Possibly looking into an existing built truck. I was tossing around the idea of what it would look like if we traded the 550 every 10 years and not do that 7 years. If that would
mhm,
somehow
Yeah.
make a difference. I just. It's a lot in one shot.
Yeah. I think those are the kind of questions and answers that we need to be thinking about and working on.
I think the 550s, those trucks seem to hold their value pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't think the big trucks hold their value terrifically great. I think those 550s do better as far as holding their value wise out, extending them out. It's just an idea.
So I called Clark's this morning. They were the ones that usually have a few stock trucks built already.
Mhm.
And Clark's is now Allegiance, which is the same as Deliri's, where we've been buying the trucks. And he said they don't do anything. So, okay. All right.
So scratch everything I just said except for the 550.
We got into a little verbal conversation about how this is working.
Yeah,
And I said, well, I'm sorry.
What does the state do?
I don't know, but I was thinking my brother's got a tractor down south. Would it be worth looking to see if we can get something more reasonable from a different state?
They have zones. Like the international does, they have like, no one else will sell you.
What the state has a state contract. Who the hell do they go through?
The state,
Allegiance.
for trucks, they go to Allegiance.
Yeah.
Allegiance bought all the international dealerships in New England.
You're getting
So you
both.
can't bid Clark against O'Leary because
They're saying,
and all they're gonna do is use the state bid truck because the state bid price.
Right.
Because they have for international, if you want a different kind of a truck, you know, you can.
what international's
get a Mavic or
cheapest?
Something or, but for now,
International's
that's your
cheapest.
choices.
They have it. I don't know. But like I said, the equipment is 18 months out.
Yeah.
That's on my list here too. We should. If we're gonna do this, we gotta kind of get in line and we got like.
Yeah.
The next couple months to do it.
So we don't. We have no option. You're going with Allegiance.
Basically,
But pretty much,
where you're at.
we
Yeah.
need to,
And you're getting it off state contract, so I think we're gonna have to do it in two pieces. You're gonna have to get the stuff from Viking, and then,
Is that how the state does it?
I guess so. Yeah,
I
because
I
they're,
can try and find
they're-
out.
they're trying, because Jeff said, and let's say, the guy I talked to today said the same thing. They're allocated out to the end of next year on trucks.
So so Allegiance
this year.
is separating out their. Separating out the equipment and the truck.
They're only, well, he said if it came down to it, he said they would pay Viking if we only wanted to write one check, but it really changes nothing.
Hmm.
It doesn't change anything, right?
So Allegiance uses Viking.
It doesn't, yeah, we just have to,
because Fairfield moved out of the state. So Viking is our choice. I think we order from Viking first. Because that's more of a variable than the truck. You order the truck and once you got the equipment. The truck can come and you can put it on, otherwise.
Do we have a set price on the equipment? Is that gonna hold?
Yep.
No set price on truck.
they can't even price the truck yet. They can't give us a price on the truck until, maybe June, July. Because they're changing some stuff. And they're getting they're getting a different cab and chassis basically in 2025. So they can't even price that truck yet. And they're, like I said, they're allocated all the way out. They can't allocate anything. That's it. They can't even order any more trucks right now.
Because of international.
Yeah, period. They're done. They can't
So,
order any more.
If we
They'll-
if we put the order in for the equipment now. We're gonna roughly see it 18
It's gonna
months,
be June, July 2020.
5. And then technically we can't order the truck until,
You might be able to order a truck in that meantime.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, once,
But you're gonna get on, what you're gonna do is get. on
we don't know a
Viking's
price.
list. you're gonna get on Viking's list to have something built by such and such a time. And then you're gonna, once, you know.
Right.
More when that's coming, then you order the truck, so you hopefully will get it about the same time.
Yeah, they'll land the truck. They'll land the truck about the same time as what their plan is.
But we don't know the price on the truck.
Yeah, they can't give
No,
you.
there's no price on the truck, except if it's state contract, we're gonna go by the state contract.
What's state
Other
contract
ver-
price right now?
The other variable is, probably 170 for the truck, I think.
What was it? What was it this last time? We did Ronnie's.
I don't know.
We'd have to look it up.
It was about
We
20.
can do that, but it's.
Well,
It was like 20-30, within
Well,
20-30
this spot
grand.
one, it was about 30,000 more than we paid for those. Jeff gave me the price on what wells was spot. And he's saying you're probably gonna end up with another 10 or 20 on top of that by the time we get there.
And the other variable is what you get for a trade-in. I mean, part of the bid process was, they'd say they'd give you this much for a trade-in, but they can say, well, we give you 50,000 right now, but a year and a half from now, the truck may be not worth 50,000, so they don't wanna commit to giving you too much until, you know, they're reserving a right to.
Okay, so Wells just got a new truck. When do you know when they put their order in on their truck to get it? Do you know what their
Everybody's
timeline was?
18 months out. That's why I brought this to the select board. It's-
Yeah.
Everybody is. I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have.
We
gone
wouldn't be
through
buying a
this.
truck right now.
I
if it
wouldn't have gone
wasn't-
through this if I didn't have to.
Yeah, yeah.
And they got you. I mean, they just got you.
What's,
So when it comes to our
okay,
equipment fund.
We just hope we have enough money saved up.
Yeah,
Add a little bit more money.
is this, I mean,
Yeah.
so, but I wish we had like I wish there was a way of finding out if this is the way it's gonna be going forward.
well, that's why
Period.
you have,
Or if
you
it's
know,
gonna change and it's gonna come back around to somewhat normal
The guy
ordering
I talked to today
process.
said this is gonna be the new one.
and I think that's why we budget for inflation, because, you know, we just. that's-
Right, I
we account for
understand
that.
that, but I'm,
And then there's some wiggle room and you hope that it's on the underside of that.
how many miles on your truck? I mean,
45.
45,000.
But you got 2 winters to go and 2 summers.
So if we were going to. Did you each have the opportunity to read through some of the options that were laid out for how we can proceed with the equipment fund? We can increase the amount that we, you know, we can go up to 3.5%, which is a medium, or we can allocate some one-time funds. To offset that a little bit, we say,
When's the
I
550
think
up?
that's for next year.
3
Yeah.
years?
I mean, so we need to plug a number in for
right,
the,
this year, I
this
think we just either keep it at 77.5 or go up to 80,000, just, you know, if we're not gonna have any roadside mowing. Put that number down in there, and then next year, this will be what has to be figured out
Well,
more in detail.
Sounds like hopefully we'll potentially have a ballpark price.
Yeah.
June, July.
Yeah. Yeah, we should be able to put it together. I mean, we got a price on the equipment already.
Mhm.
But-
And maybe within the ball field, not just.
And it's so,
ballpark.
I think it's volatile out there, you know what I mean? It's like, I think it's really volatile. You know, where the prices are gonna be, and so they don't even, you know, they don't dare go out that far either.
So going through this list, trying to understand, this is, Caleb, when you, this number down here on the bottom is, you did the 5%, this is the difference in with 5% increase? The 6,643,000?
no, that's what Eric,
That's what the,
Oh, okay,
this is,
that's not. what-
3.5.
Eric's tried to take this and translate it into something. Eric didn't happen to stop in the office today, so I couldn't go on that.
okay. So what we need to decide is, what percentage increase we're gonna do, what number we want for. You know, I guess we said 12 for winter contracts. We're gonna remove the roadside mowing line, and if we're gonna increase our equipment fund by any amount more than when it's already gone up, you know, it's up a good amount already. For tonight's meeting, that's, you know, most of what we need to decide.
You take that 10,000 off of the salt, you're only 2,300,
Yeah,
so that's not. Oh, maybe, no, that's not right, sorry. That was on mine, not.
that was on yours, yeah,
Yep, sorry.
that's
my bad.
okay.
So if you wanna do 5% instead of 3%, that will change it a little bit. That also changes the FICA and the dealers. This on the meeting.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be on the fly here, so.
Last year we did
We
do 5 last
We
year.
did 5% last year, that's why.
Yep.
That 5% that he was pointing out, that year's budget is 5%, and the little
Yep,
thing over here, I thought said 7%, so that's what I used to calculate the stuff on this sheet.
okay,
So it'd be someplace in between 116,000 and 124,000.
do either of you have an opinion on that?
It's nice if you can finalize this tonight, but
Yeah.
probably I would say, give me a chance to clean it up.
Yeah.
You are having a meeting on Tuesday.
Right.
It's warned, gonna be warned as a select board meeting for the pre-town meeting. So at the end of it, you can discuss the budget to finalize it if you wish. Because then you'll know exactly what it's increasing, how much the taxes would need to go up, and
I wouldn't mind a little bit more time to think about it.
Yeah, I'd like to know what's gonna have the effect on taxes.
Are you comfortable with the 5%?
Not entirely.
Okay.
CPI is 3%, that's why I use 3%. We did get 5% last year.
Yeah.
Eric's agreed that I think more.
Wow. We got 5% last year, and I believe that was a little bit under what was. We should have, what the. Rates were, I was just trying to balance the scale a little bit.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's in your hands, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fight you either way. Any raise is better than none, I've got 0 raises before too.
Yes, we've had 0 raises here.
We've had many of those. so.
Do you have an opinion, Kevin?
Yeah, no, I'd like to wait.
Okay, so do you
Make
wanna
it
see it,
So,
do you wanna see the budget written out for both 3% and 5%? Be able to compare them? Is that possible, Gail? Is that
Yeah. I can
more,
do-
it's more work
it's-
for
it's
you,
just-
I know. We could just decide for that part, that would be
It's-
easier.
It's salaries, I'm assuming that you're gonna give everybody same rates, the transfer station guys and
Yeah.
everybody,
Right.
just highway.
mhm.
Um, I,
Yeah, I'd like to, I mean, I would like to see the difference between the
I
two.
mean, I do feel like, you know, we're already dealing with a lot of additional costs, you know, this budget, so while I generally wanna give people a generous raise, I do feel like 3% might be what we will have to think about this next budget. Given that we have a lot of unexpected higher costs. I do think it would be easier if we could decide that tonight. But we can wait and have that comparison.
It's certainly easier if you decide it tonight.
Yeah.
Decide 3%. And by the time, so this is, a budget is a budget, that's what you think you're gonna spend next year.
Yep.
The salaries are actually set.
Right.
When you get the rates for the new year, so if you come across something that says you're gonna have a little bit extra, then you could probably increase it at that point when you're setting next year's rate.
So we could tentatively set it for 3.
Well, we can
You're budgeting
set it for
that
3.
amount of money.
Right.
And in July, you could say, well, if we didn't buy as much sand as we thought, so we can shave. We can take some of that savings and add that extra 5,000 onto the salaries. But you're not actually determining paid.
Yeah.
Setting the pay
Right.
rates tonight, you're just budgeting an amount that you want to spend, so.
I would be comfortable with the 3% as a budget. We're not tied into anything.
Yeah,
Would you like to vote on that? Do we vote on that alone, or do we? Just,
Well, it. should
You're
be-
just gonna do that in the-
it should-
you're-
It should be reflected in the minutes.
Yeah.
Because the auditors like to see, well, who
Right.
decided to give what for a raise or.
yeah,
so you wanna make a motion to tentatively set it for, well, you budget 3%.
is that your motion?
Sure.
I will second that.
All in favor? Aye, okay. All right, so now that we've set that, Gail will clean this up.
So what did you decide about paving? Do you want to add any extra to it? In the past, there was a time that we would vote on town meeting to add more to it or not, and then.
That's not a
when it
bad
was at-
idea.
That's when it was at
No, we don't
75,
have to
well,
meet.
that's when it was at 75,000, and then every year it got voted on, yeah, into 100,000. And then one year, the select board decided not to put it in, people got mad,
mm,
and the select board, whoever was on the board at the time, he says, well, we know they're gonna approve it, so, we wanna hold the line at 75,000. And people got upset, hey, we want the choice to vote yes or no.
Yeah.
The select board doesn't have to decide for us, it's our choice whether we wanna spend more or not. So you could do it that way, or you could just increase it as you.
yeah, well, we could have them vote on it. Would you like another?
Thing to vote on?
3 cents on your tax rate.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm good with level funding it. We're not strapped for cash, so. Stay at home.
yeah,
About the cycle though.
Don't get behind.
He's gonna get behind.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna come up and do 300,000 just to catch up on the road.
that's why we hope we get one of those grants every few years, so we can theoretically catch up some, but I do think at least. Yeah, it's worth asking the town if they would like more of the roads paved at once. We can leave it up to them this round. But I guess for our budget, it would be, we
Well,
would just keep it at
leave it
100,000.
In the budget,
Yeah.
it would be a separate article, and then it would get added to, and you have to calculate the
Yeah.
taxes, the tax rate, that's when you would get added in.
But you needed them now, right? Yeah.
To put it on the warning, yeah, you'd have to have
I mean, it used to be 20, we voted on extra.
25.
25.
Yeah.
Now, like there was an advantage to voting on individual articles.
So. So we'll leave it at the 100
Yeah,
for
I think we
budget.
just leave it at 100.
for budget concerns. We'll put it in town meeting. And then, do you wanna say 25 or do you,
I mean, we
I
can,
or should we do,
I wouldn't go any higher than that.
yeah,
One of these years, we're gonna roll into another.
right,
we'll get
paving,
another
so
grant, yeah.
it'd be nice
Okay.
To have that when it's time for paving.
Right, so just going through. We're comfortable with all these other numbers.
So you left the roadside mowing at 0?
Yeah.
Gonna up the equipment fund to 80,000, or what was your pleasure there?
was it 77.5,
77.5, I suggested 80, rounding up to
100 more,
80,000.
or 3,500 more.
That's what I'm trying to get that from.
Comfortable with that, going up to 80.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I put in 25, but it's, the thousands.
And then we're keeping the salt at 35, we're keeping,
He did suggest, Eric suggested having winter sand go down to 14. Do you still want that, Eric?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, okay, great. And then we'll budget for 12 for winter contracts and then hopefully we can figure something else out. And everything else we're comfortable with.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
So if we're comfortable with that, then we can vote on it at our next meeting. Once we have a,
3%, if you give me a minute, I might be able to tell you what that number is gonna be. Subject to my verification on the comment. So it looks like it's gonna go up $9,200 from that $625.
okay. Including all the other changes we made, or that's just
That's
the.
it's just the 3%.
3%, right, yeah,
That's leaving it at the 3%, but adding 700 for extra help, 3,000 in diesel fuel, saving 1,000 from winter sand. 2,500 extra to the equipment fund and 4,000 for Weston.
what was the number you said?
Nine.
Said 92.
92, so it's 634,800.
Yeah. 634, 800.
Still under a 5% increase though.
Not terrible. Seeing that number, how do you feel about the decisions we've made? And are you comfortable with just going for it and then we have,
That's a 4% raise.
yeah. 4% isn't terrible. Given some of the other numbers we have going up.
Man, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, but I honestly don't know what we would. I mean, we're budgeting obviously a lot more for the winter contract, so yeah, you could take a 4,000 off of there, but then. That doesn't seem like a
Not knowing
prudent
where,
decision, yeah,
not knowing where it's gonna end up. I mean, hopefully, we're gonna get away from it and
I feel like this is,
then utilize
yeah, I feel comfortable with that.
somehow.
But I'll leave it up. With you to discuss, do you have anything else?
Be nice if we could get rid of some items, but I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah,
So what we don't have is contract for this
budget,
is our share of the culvert cost for Patriots culvert.
right,
Yep, we did get a approval for a grant of up to 72,000.
yeah,
Hopefully. Not gonna cost that much,
right,
but I can say the Potter's Brook. Project. Was over 70, almost 73,000 when you add in the road crew's time and our equipment.
yeah,
The out of pocket was 54.
Yep.
But we had to budget that for the whole thing, so the state only gave us 36,000.
Yep.
So if we, this is budgeted at 72, so hopefully we'll be getting more of a reimbursement for it. That 36,000 is gonna come in FY 24.
Right.
It was budgeted for last year, but you didn't get it last year, we're getting it this year.
The crack ceiling,
Hopefully that would help.
did at one point you say something about renting a machine and doing it? Have you, we didn't do that.
We're gonna do it this spring.
What does that machine run? You said we'd have it for what, a month?
And so I have to call them again because I slept since then. Seems like it was like
$4,000, I
$4,000
think.
a month. And that came with the,
Sealer,
and
So-
Clarendon actually wants to go in on it with us.
so we could,
So they'll get it for a month and we'll get it for a month. Basically, and we'll be able to
Do-
match weeks
nice,
in the, and I may be able to get Danby in and we may be able to have it in town for 3 months
Yeah,
instead, and we can all just kind of.
Yeah, We're not
Rotate,
gonna wanna do that
yeah, that's a
all
great,
month long.
Well, it's
You
weather.
wanna do it a
Right.
bit at a time or
It's
something.
weather permitting too. I mean, if it's raining, you can't really do it.
yeah.
No.
So you,
You
that's why
shouldn't
you,
do it.
that's why it was like, we should have it here.
and who's the company that,
It's Ambrose. Out of, they're in Concord, New Hampshire. Somewhere, they're
Yep.
over there somewhere. I don't know exactly. They're over near Concord.
But I think we thought about doing that. That's why the number's gone down to 5 instead of 10.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
All right, is there anything else on this?
I'm just going through it, trying to
Yep.
remove some stuff.
So I'm hoping that we are. Our share of that 72,000 will. If we do the timesheets right with the equipment and everything, we can get reimbursed for we use that for
Yep.
our share. As opposed to straight out of pocket.
It is
Yep.
10% too. I found it yesterday, it's 10%.
Is the A and R permit just a yearly?
Every year we have to pay it,
Okay,
and some years we have to pay more than that 160.
okay.
Sometimes it's. Well, last year was 1,900.
I
There's two
assumed that-
different, there's 2 different permits that we have to pay.
Mhm.
That was part of the, we get grant and aid to fix the ditches.
Yeah,
They have to raise the money somehow, so they're charging us out of one pocket and paying us back out of another.
yep.
Makes you feel good.
All right, so we don't need to vote on this tonight. So if you two see anything in the next
Okay.
few weeks, you'll have
Over the
Okay.
weekend?
a cleaned up, oh yeah, what am I saying? Not the 25th meeting, it's
16.
Tuesday, but I be on
Won't take
Tuesday.
to the 25th.
Yeah, no, Tuesday. I'm
Yeah,
thinking I have more time than I do.
Is what
um,
it is, unfortunately.
Yeah. But maybe
Is that okay?
tentative, okay. All right. Okay. We did talk a little bit about reviewing the update to equipment fund spreadsheet. Kathy has said she was happy to continue to help us update that, plug in numbers. I think, yeah, there'll be a lot of conversations next year about it. I think, yeah, thinking through what we can afford to replace, how long we can get things to last, if we can make them last longer somehow. All that kind of stuff. But I don't have anything else besides that.
Invest in some duct tape,
Oh, yeah, no, zip tape, that's where it's at.
zip ties and duct tape.
All right, the equipment, oh my goodness, equipment procurement procedure. Of how we're purchasing equipment.
Originally, you had put that on the agenda for February,
Right,
but Eric wanted to talk about ordering the piping thing.
right,
So that's why it's on here, but I think we also need to figure out what other towns are doing, and you can't go out to bid.
right, how,
I think ours says something that you're gonna use the state salt bid, you don't have to go out to bid for salt, but. So it might be that we need to add something for that for trucks.
yeah,
Well, it sounds like this place has got it pretty wrapped up.
Literally only gave us the state.
Would
Unless
it be-
Unless you switch to. And what if, I don't know.
Oh my God, the truck would triple.
Well, then, okay.
The International is the cheapest. You start getting into Mac, Peterbilt, Kenworth and stuff like that, your truck is gonna double.
It was $20,000 difference first,
yeah,
For what?
to a Western Star from.
Oh, yeah, Lester, yeah.
It was 20 grand.
is it possible for our January 25th meeting to, look to have the procurement policy that we can all have read ahead of time.
I think the procurement policy says you can buy off the state contract also.
I can't remember what it is.
I'm pretty
I read
sure.
it one time, I think, so I haven't. I need to refresh
It's in
myself.
your
Yeah.
packet.
Is it in this? Jesus.
Is
Yeah.
that the purchasing guidance? I thought that was for.
Purchasing guidance, that's what we
Okay.
called it.
I only read through the email. I
If we
didn't.
get too complicated with it, too formal with it, then, it's hard to bend the rules.
I did read through it, I was thinking bulk bids for some reason.
I think I was thinking something else.
It says on the third paragraph down, if the state contract for salt is used, no additional bidding will be. So if we just add in there,
For truck.
for salts for trucks or.
Totally missing it. Okay, see, I don't know.
I don't know what to do about the,
It's, that's right.
the equipment, because the equipment is separate.
Four pages in. Who knows?
It should have been. What place did it go?
It's paid.
Right after the highway budget.
Maybe I've gone past it. I went past it. That's why.
So I guess we need to think about how you do the equipment. The Viking is the only one in town. I think there's a
Well-
thing in here that says if the select board determines there's only one vendor, then you can authorize just doing that one vendor.
So if we go through, who is it? Alliance? Who is it? Allegiance,
Allegiance,
then Allegiance, no, they don't. They separated it out.
Allegiance just wants us to buy a truck.
Truck.
That's what we used to do years ago, and we got into buying together, and now it's split back up again.
Basically, you almost have to do it in two parts now because one part is so far off of the other part.
I mean, it says exceptions, sole source purchases. If the select board determines that there is only one possible source for proposed purchase, it may waive the bid process and authorize the purchase from the sole source.
The cheapest route for us to do this is to re-amend it to where that we do the trucks the same way we're doing the sand, is to go through a state bid. So,
Right, that
sorry.
works for the trucks, but I don't know if the state has.
The state.
Oh, for the bodies.
It is. That's a state contract on from Viking too. He says they have all the state contracts.
So with this,
Cause I point
And
like.
so, so if the state contract is not international.
Right.
I guess then we'd have to follow that on what's here.
right, yeah,
Well, just remember, they are planning on going to electric only at some point, which may not be our best
Not
interest,
gonna be
but
in our best interest.
It's not gonna be the state's best thing.
not at all.
So we'll have to address that, I guess, when we get there.
okay.
No,
No?
no,
so
I'm not.
in terms of this
electric.
policy, like, all we really need to change is that we need to put in here about the state.
I mean, it-
The state
Contract.
Contracts for trucks and. equipment.
Right.
And,
so we need to amend it to do that. Or the other option is keeping the truck.
There you go. You got a $900,000 building, and you should be able to get another year or two out of the truck.
But in terms of updating our procurement, we still should do that.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
where we want to put that in?
Probably put it right in. Where
Just
salt
right there,
is.
yeah.
The salt, trucks and equipment.
Yeah. That we just want to say that the accepting the state contract without going up, we can forego bid and go with the state
There you
contract.
go.
It says, if the state contract for salt.
Yeah,
I'm gonna insert the salt, trucks or equipment is used, no additional bidding will be required.
so we just need to add
So between
Trucks,
that.
trucks
equipment.
and equipment.
And
Perfect.
sole source, I think we should be covered.
Great.
didn't catch what you said.
It was, so between what we're adding and then the sole source, I would hope we'd be covered at that point.
Right. Are you two comfortable with that? Yes.
Mhm.
Great. Someone like to make a motion to amend the purchasing guidance? for the town of Timoth?
I make a motion that we amend the purchasing guidance for the town of Timoth by adding trucks or equipment after if the state contract for salt.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great,
So I will try to go between copy and then we can sign it.
perfect. The risk assessment for the new town garage?
That's the report that I sent.
Yep.
If the question would be asked here, how many of those have done and how many of those have.
I haven't had the opportunity to look at this. I was walked around with him and took notes, so I haven't actually looked at this one yet. But I think, everything we talked about, I believe I could do. There's not really,
The one thing that they want us to do that we might not want to do right away, and that's put in off-site alert for fire and something or other.
yeah. I didn't know. if you were
What's the
gonna put
name of that? There's a name for that.
Fire alarm?
Yeah, a fire alarm off-site, so it rings in, like the school has it ring in at company down in Manchester, and the things go off. And then this one guy has to come up and unscrew the bulb or something. So anyways, that's pretty pricey, which is why we haven't done it in the past. But it is a common recommendation. But some of the recommendations are, they need the sheets for the hazardous waste. Is that in the old garage? We had one of those. The sheets and all that, it's probably hasn't been updated in 10 years.
No, it was on the shelf. I asked him to send me something that he liked. It's
Okay.
down there. But I said, well, we can get, well, is it, you have another committee, a safety committee that meets?
Yep.
That might be something that they might be able to get involved with too.
I think you just download them. And put it in
Yeah,
a notebook.
and they're in there,
Yeah,
but
it's
he
supposed
wasn't
to
happy.
review it.
I have a book like this thick and he wasn't happy with it.
Okay,
So I
probably
said,
because it's old.
well, we haven't changed anything.
I know.
So I said, send me something that you like and
And the
Well-
railway, the rails have to be changed and the lip put around and. There's a few things, some
Yeah.
things, they're very low. Low concern and some are medium.
yeah, there's a
What they
couple
do
more.
want is a response to say, yes, we've got it, we've read it, we're gonna take care of X, Y, and Z.
And then they give you a timeline on it?
Pardon?
They give you a timeline on it?
Some of them they suggested, because he wrote this in December, he wanted it done by February
February.
4th, and some of it's March 4th. There's dates on each one of those. There's a,
I did have a question based off of his comments, though. Who checks the fire extinguishers monthly for the town office or the garage or any of our other buildings that we have them in?
when Lori Phillips was on the select board, she would come in and do it every month. There is a company that comes once a year and does the school, the here in the garage, we round everything up. But somebody at the garage should be responsible, probably the road commissioner, put it in his job description. That he has the, check it and initial it, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I've done, 'em. I don't get them every time, but I have done, I have checked them off, but one of those things, yeah.
They have to find something, remember how Marcus
Yeah.
Fish used to leave a light bulb unscrewed?
Yeah.
So the milk inspector could find that, and after the milk inspector left, he'd go back. and screw that.
Yeah, I left him the gravel handrail. I knew he was gonna say something about that, so I. didn't-
On the stairs.
I left it off.
So anyways, look them over and some of
Yeah.
them are pretty clear, just,
Do you have any questions about these correct?
No, I went through him, I went right through him with him and like I said, I haven't seen this yet, so I'll go.
Yeah.
Anything we can do, I'll do.
Great.
And
anything you can't do, if you could let us know at our our next meeting or our January 25th meeting.
I think the fire alarm is a really good idea.
It sounds, yeah,
It was like 11 grand when I called Countryside,
Ooh, doesn't sound so good now.
but you got $1 million worth of equipment in that.
How is there not a fire? Like,
It's under 5,000 square feet.
you don't need to have a fire line? Like even just like a little,
The insurance company recommends it, but the state doesn't require. it. If
geez.
it's over 5,000 square feet, it has to be sprinkled in.
And now they have to be hardwired in, right? Or can it be
Have
just,
to be.
I think it has to have a battery and be able to call out, so.
Yeah.
I would say a public building, it has to be.
yeah, it's the bad part of. All right, well,
He said he could do it. I asked Countryside when I was talking to him if he could do it after, and he said,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just do it all the time, but.
yeah, and that was 11,000.
At that time. that
Yeah.
was A year ago, so it's
Was
probably,
that per year or one time?
that's a one-time deal, and then I'm sure,
Installation.
I'm sure there's a
There's a monthly.
There's a
or
monthly
quarterly
fee,
charge.
whatever they do.
So one of the things that Wade said in his letter was the insurance company will provide some, I think we have like $2,500 that we could put towards it, you know.
Yeah,
They do a grant, but it's based on how much the premiums are, so for us, I think it's the max is that.
Yeah.
That's what they take off.
That's what we would get a grant for, if it
Yeah.
cost us 11,000, we would send it. We're trying to get the fire department to do it and do it here too, and. You know, it's just always been too expensive to do it.
I mean, it'd be to insurance advantage because
yeah,
Yeah, we
they
get
wouldn't
the
have to pay for the whole building.
Yeah, it's a real
Right.
assessment for
Yeah,
the insurance company, but we are the insurance company, so, you know, if we can keep.
Yeah.
Keep firehouses and town garages from burning down, it's to all of our benefits, because it's a.
Yeah.
How is there no smoke alarms in here? Like,
There's smoke alarms.
They want a smoke alarm system.
yeah, like one that calls somebody that tells you.
Calls a company that says, hey.
Yeah.
Town
Right.
office is on fire.
some houses, I mean, we just went to the fire down here on Channel Road. And that went into a system called.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Fire, Oklahoma.
Well, Burke's does too.
There's several. of them.
all right, so you're gonna let us know what's not possible at our January 25 meeting?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep, we'll go through it.
Potter's Brook,
How the work update I gave you already.
yep, perfect,
Do
How
voice and
Joe-
pay.
Working for file, you don't have to do this yet. but
Yeah.
I'm doing the paperwork. I discovered that it was $600 that had been allocated to the town garage for gravel that was really Potter's Brook.
yeah,
So once we switched it, that meant the reimbursement from the capital fund is gonna be less than that 13,000.
right,
And the ironic thing is I had just written that check for $16,000 to transfer from the capital to the other thing,
mm,
and I found this thing, I didn't put that check, so it's gonna be $5,600 left.
Yeah.
What we can do.
okay,
But I didn't finalize that today because I wanted Eric to go through this $38,000 of gravel experience if he wanted to. Get some results out. So,
all right, the Dubois and King salt and sand shed update. Did I miss it? Did they only do it at that one size? Did they not provide other size?
No, they only did it at
Do one
that one
king.
size.
Dubois and King,
Well, they wanna have a meeting, Stephanie
Yeah.
wants to have a meeting with the committee, which is
Yes,
you
us.
guys and so that they can present to us, and then they wanna have another meeting where they present to the public.
Okay,
And they wanted to know if we wanted to do that at your February 8th meeting, and I said, I wanna do that at a separate meeting,
yeah,
Mm-mm.
because what they're presenting us right now is
it's not possible.
$900,000,
No.
and it's a teepee.
Yeah.
It's a
Did you
nut
see
teepee,
it?
Which is not what where we started.
How the hell
out,
you
so-
dumping that?
Yeah,
So- So anyways, on this email here, they wanna do a Zoom meeting,
yeah,
either Wednesday at 10, next Wednesday, Thursday at 10, or the Wednesday after at 1. And so you were all supposed to respond by today at 5 o'clock.
Whoops.
So
Before I
Stephanie,
came here.
I would remind you all that they need to know. I said I could do either Wednesday, but not Thursday.
I said Thursday was my preferred day.
Well, there's two of us for Thursdays then.
but
So
n-
Eric-
I didn't, I was, yeah. I was just
And
And
so at that meeting, that's what we're gonna ask them
Yeah.
is,
I really thought we'd asked for, and maybe we should, yeah.
we said, is this the right size? And they said they would figure it out for us if we didn't want them to.
Which email was it? Was it this one?
Yeah.
This was on January 9th from Stephanie Board.
And it'd be nice if they updated Bridgewater to Tinmouth. In their notes, they have Bridgewater listed.
Maybe it's the wrong one. Maybe they sent us the wrong one.
Well, could be, because if you look at the existing conditions map, they have debris right in front of the doors that they drive in and out of, and they have trailers parked where there's no trailers, and
Oh.
so were they really there? That was my question to Stephanie, and she hasn't answered it.
Oh.
They also show our. I forget what pile it is, actually going over the property line a little bit too.
I think it probably does.
Oh my
It
God.
doesn't anymore.
Doesn't anymore,
No,
okay.
cause that was on, they're working off of the first
The
Right.
first one.
thing. And we moved that a while ago,
All right.
years.
Well, yeah, we'll have that meeting. What did
I
you?
just want,
Okay.
and we just got a new inn for our barn, you know, the Quonset barn.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy's just put up one for Hubbard's, and he's done for several towns, that kind of barn for salt and sand. And they're way cheaper.
So,
If you
You've
look-
been down this road.
well, so,
I mean, that's
if you
basically
look
what
at
it
the
is.
Assessment for it, the estimated price with the contingency is $934,000. The cost of the structure itself is $195,000.
Yeah.
so Ira just did theirs.
700,000.
Yeah.
in there.
So Ira just did theirs and theirs was 200 and something $1,000.
That's what I figured.
But they probably didn't go through a federal program and need all these.
But they had to, I mean, we have to follow the rules.
Yeah.
They have to follow the same. rules.
I'd like to go over and look at Ira's. Because Ira just did theirs, I think.
I think it's probably a ton smaller because they have like 8 miles of road.
Who's the guy on their fire department that Toppin? I was just talking to him about it and he said, I'm pretty sure he said theirs was $225,000.
Yeah.
I would like to go look at it.
Yeah.
So when the select board decided to make the building the size that they did, it automatically jumped into a different realm. If they had made a smaller town garage, you would have been able to do everything that you wanted to out of pocket without going through the hoops that you are now going through. You were going through the hoops you're going through because you cannot take over so much impervious surface on that project.
All right, so we're gonna meet with them on, what was the Thursday? Thursday.
Well, everybody
Are
has to
you-
send in their choices.
I just responded with any day,
Okay.
as long as I get a heads up, I'm good with any day.
Eric, you were on that email too.
Yeah, if it's not snowing.
That's not snowing.
You're good for any of them,
No.
it's not snowing?
Yeah.
Okay,
So whatever works best for everybody else.
Yeah.
okay. And the meeting to have them present to the public, you want to tentatively schedule that in February sometime, or wait to see?
I'd like to wait and see what they had to
Yeah, I
say.
would wait and see until after that meeting, in case we send them back to the drawing board.
Which should probably gonna most likely happen.
All right,
So you have the name of that Quonset hut guy or?
Yeah, Greg Lucia,
Greg Lucian?
he's doing another one in Wells. He just
It's
built,
for a private person.
right, we just built one for Hubbard's, it's right outside their facility there.
Yep.
And he's done several other towns. He's the one, we got our barn through.
Oh, yeah, superstructure.
Yeah.
all right. So we will find out more. When we meet with them. Annual highway mileage certificate.
We have no changes, so you guys just need to sign it and then send it to the state and they can calculate how much state aid we get based on our votes.
Excellent.
Okay.
Somewhere, there's a bunch of lines here. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like specific.
Did you lose money when we gave up Norfolk Road?
Yeah, it's passed, but we're
Oh,
gonna-
fast forward, help me keep on.
Hmm.
We'll give it back if it, you just have to make your 10-wheel turn in. Or go over.
We're talking about budgets, right?
So Stephanie, not Stephanie, I think of it. Barbara pulling noise pulling, from the regional commission is gonna come to your February 8th meeting to talk about the regional plan.
Oh, great.
Update that you're doing. She's gonna come tonight, and I said it's budget time, and she's, oh, wait, I'll wait.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be the meeting, I will say. All right. Review fiscal year 24 financial reports.
I should have been better.
Thanks, Eric.
Oh, well, I just wanted to thank the road crew for plowing down through the channel road. We had a
Oh,
culvert
yeah.
A couple days ago, it made a difference. You know, he's come a couple times when we've had fire, put sand down, it really makes a difference for the sky, so. Thanks for,
Timing worked out very well.
Yeah, it did.
that wet snow is almost impossible
Yeah.
to get snow through. Appreciate it when you feel it out and you come and sand to do something, because it looks pretty hairy, pretty fast.
Yeah, it was slick.
Yeah, no, we slid around.
It was
Anyway, I
slick.
appreciate that.
Sure.
Really.
Have a good night.
All right. Hmm. So.
Yep.
Here we go. This is. These. Let's see. These negatives are. Still. Okay, positive.
Would you say you're looking for positives?
Well, no, I was just how the, how it's format.
This format, this report is, it's a FY 24 budget report. So it's got the budget and it's got it's. Actually, it's supposed to say 1/1/24, not 1/31, because we haven't got 31 yet.
Yeah.
You know, the big surprise here is where's the aid, because we spent like 15,000. We get 10,000 present aid. This is just money that we spend in the pocket, they don't include any of the equipment or the road fees.
Right. And did you use 3% on this one? This was, no,
3%.
never mind, this is,
We haven't got.
we haven't gotten to that yet. I still haven't found this.
FY 25 budget is. But now you're on the FY, this year that we're in, FY 24 is what we spent so far.
Found in my email, but I'm not seeing it. Are you seeing it?
I'm not seeing it in my
I tried
pocket.
to put it in the packet. That's why it's stapled. I tried to put it in order of.
That's why it's stable, I know, and then I take it all apart.
Well, I was tempted to make different
Yeah.
colors. One year I made the budget different colors. and so
Yeah.
It was easier to say, take the blue sheet.
Yep, that would be, all right, I was looking at
We
it
go
the right
back to
thing the
color
first
coding.
time.
Yes. Well, hopefully they're gonna be
Back
done with the
further.
budget this time, so.
Oh,
The budget for next year, went to town meeting.
Yeah,
when it's this big, you need a reference guide.
yeah,
Well, or you need to pick it up a couple of days ahead so you can look at it.
No.
No, all right, then I won't make them until before the meeting.
Just as long as you keep sending me emails, then I get the emails, I get done with work and then I read these.
Well, that's good, but I asked to make them in paper because people didn't want to print them out. And then I would see that.
oh, it's great to have them in paper here.
Yes.
Yeah,
It does make discussions around the table much easier.
So. This is. Not as scary as our highway one. We did pretty well.
Are you on the financial report of budget?
The financial report,
Okay,
is it correct that we have 15,000, that's 12,000,
So-
12,000,
so you're looking at the revenues?
yeah,
Just remember that
negative,
it's a negative.
Yeah.
It shows we're 12,000 in the hole.
okay. That was my
Part-
question when I was trying to
part-
figure out the negatives, I
It's
was
part
like,
of
is
the
this
net
negative?
revenues, but we still have, a few months to go.
And all of these are. Like, what left would be coming in, what's left to come in?
There's some delinquent taxes that will come in.
Yeah.
We've probably got 25,000 to deposit in delinquent taxes. People don't want the name of the town report, so they're gonna pay them quick.
I mean, more delinquent taxes, I feel like came in than
So,
has
They did.
been.
They did last year.
so
Yeah.
the delinquent taxes that you're expected to come in,
We have a whole bunch of cats coming in on Saturday.
Oh,
morning to make a
okay.
Deposit.
okay, and that's,
Send out delinquent bills. So there will be more delinquencies coming in. And there's another 6,000 transfer station fees that we'll get. The interest is just hopping. We have budgeted 2,500, we've made 92 already.
Thank
And we
goodness,
still got 6 months to go.
thank goodness.
And 3 years ago, they were giving us 0.01%. You know, we weren't making $500 a year interest on $1 million.
And we just haven't gotten that grant reimbursement, that just hasn't come through yet, but that will.
For those 36,000 for the,
Well, the 18,000 for the emergency operations center,
we got that.
oh, that did come
that's in
Yes,
here.
the revenues are backwards.
Oh, yep, right
So
here.
when it says minus, that means we
in.
already
Right,
have it.
that's why I
Okay.
keep getting confused.
So it's actually a plus.
It's right. On the
Okay.
revenues, it's only
Yes.
revenues that way.
Okay,
I
good,
can't
right?
explain it, but that's just the way it comes
Okay.
through.
So it's actually
So
a
we did get
plus.
that grant, and we're gonna get 36,000 for Potter's Brook. And then we're gonna get another 5,000 for the local hazard management plan that we did a couple of years ago.
Is there a way to have is it just that it's the same formula for the expenditures?
Expenditures are the other way.
And so it's just the same
So
formula,
for revenues, it's, when you get more than what you think you're gonna get, it shows as a minus, when you have less, it shows as a plus.
okay. As long as you know that, it makes, but looking at it, it's really hard.
Does
to
it really make
understand.
sense?
It doesn't make it.
I
Yeah,
don't believe it does.
and I'm not
I didn't
very
make
good,
it up, it's an
yeah,
accountant, and
I'm not very good at spreadsheets, but I feel like maybe.
This is why I didn't become an accountant.
Yeah. There's just, yeah. Does anything jump out at any of you?
So the 12,000 were apparently in the hole with what's coming in.
Technically
We're,
not.
we're not in the hole, we're
Technically
ahead
not.
several thousand
Okay.
dollars with just,
Okay,
we're good.
And they actually gave us our state highway early. Usually they
Oh,
give
wow.
it to us every quarter. But because of all the floods, they decided to ramp it up and give it all the towns all their highway money ahead of time in case you needed.
So if we go to expenditures, all these will make, these are,
The expenditures are.
Actual.
negatives are
It
negatives.
shows a negative, it means we overspent. Like put a grant and not paying, you know.
Yeah.
what-
Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's
Outside
tree
of
root.
that goes Hold the line, so we don't see. Plus or minus or circle.
So the ash tree.
I do
removal
think we
equipment
should put
rent.
more money into building repair. Once we went over and. We did do a bunch of repairs this year, so, but we might need to, we'll be looking at. Like the old town garage.
What line are you on?
I'm on
31.
expenditures line. Actually, yes, am I? Yeah. Building repairs,
That's
for highway, I was,
Highway.
Oh,
building
sorry.
repair.
I mean, they both went over, so all the more reason, but also in the, town,
That building repair is paint. for the
90.
Old garage.
Yep.
Most of it, for the 2,800 bucks of it is paint. for the old garage.
Yeah.
And on,
And that could change. How do we do that? If I don't end up using all of it and I return it,
we just get a credit.
and then
send
it reflects
back
into the,
one.
okay,
Yeah.
all right,
We're gonna have it done by June 30th.
I would assume, yeah.
Okay, that's the end of the fiscal year, so that's
I wanted to have it done this fall.
the best laid plan.
Yeah.
And then,
Oh, yeah,
and so the building repair on the general side had to do with the old creamery and the
Yeah.
lights downstairs and the lights under the porch.
Yep. Yep.
And so some of that is covered by ARPA money, I just haven't.
moved it.
oh, what, is that on tonight's agenda?
Oh, yeah, they're getting there, slowly but surely.
I made an ARPA spreadsheet that's on the back of the thing that I had done for Eric.
Oh.
It was a handout at the beginning of the.
I will be fixing the shed. That's the one we won't be charged.
Oh, this is another reminder, that things getting worse.
Yeah, I just saw it, so that's why.
He gave us a lifetime guarantee to keep that roof fixed over there.
Fantastic.
I don't know if it's a lifetime of that, or a lifetime of me.
Probably you.
Ugh. Do either of you have anything that you would like to discuss on this?
Ash tree removal equipment rent, what was that?
That was when you entered the lift. So
Oh,
it's
yes,
covered in
yes,
there
yes, yes.
because We did do a lot of ash
Yep.
stuff with it.
Yep.
I mean, we did other things, cut other
Yep.
trees too, and used it to paint.
Yep.
But that's where it came out.
All the insurance and everything, that's all gonna be. It seems like we
Yeah, I was
budgeted
just looking at
correctly
that.
for it, but. That just hasn't come out yet, but
Right. The insurance. Disability and workers' comp.
Yeah.
Liability, that's all. It's a quarterly payment.
Yep.
It used to be once a year, then they did it twice a year, now they're doing it quarterly. It's too confusing. for me. You
Yeah.
gotta pay it
Yeah.
twice a year and get it done, but.
Mm.
They apply credits to it and you have to finish,
right,
figure
I mean,
out
we're also looking
if
at
the
this
fire
like
department gets
halfway
the
through the year,
credits or something else.
right? Guys have any questions for this? Comments? Concerns?
And so,
It looks like everything's, we're not already. And we should be looking like we're relatively in the middle of everything on this, so it seems like that's relatively the case. Is there anything that you're worried about, Gail, that has been more expensive than expected or anything? No. Good. Warrants and orders? Anybody have any concerns? And if not, would anyone like to make a motion?
I'm good with that.
So somebody moved and somebody seconded.
I will make a motion that we approve the warrants and orders
And financial reports.
and the financial reports.
Second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Right.
Moving on to the budget. Anybody have anything for this budget, the general budget? Jump out at them that they want to talk about? Gail, do you have any comments?
Well, I've got no order here. Pages are- There is a draft revenue, but I haven't put in the number yet until we get the budgets for highway and general set.
Yeah.
Then the rest of this stuff is pretty cut and dried, so you subtract that from the total. And then that's what's raised by taxes.
Okay.
So at the top of the general budget is the stuff that we spent the actual last year on the town garage.
Yep,
So that 79.55 is what actually gets paid to the highway fund from capital instead of the 13,000.
I don't really have any questions, but.
On the law enforcement,
Mhm.
says on page 3, I budgeted smidge more than last year. I didn't increase it by the 7% because we
Officially,
haven't reached the 10
Yeah.
hours a week
Right.
yeah,
for 5 years, I think. I had Trish look it up and we haven't met it yet, so. I know it'd be nice to budget it and actually get the 10 hours a week, but.
yeah,
I think
That doesn't look
statewide-
like it's gonna
I think
happen.
Statewide, it's an issue with
yeah.
It
the sheriff's
is.
department and towns trying to get speed enforcement and law enforcement.
Yeah.
Can't get help.
There's just not enough.
Rutland City right now is offering a $10,000 sign-on bonus.
I think there were
Never
what,
done.
6 state troopers that were put on
Yes,
leave today.
for an investigation,
Oh, really?
for an investigation of an investigation that they were doing and how they handled it.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Any state police?
6,
Yeah.
yeah. But the state has changed,
Yeah,
so it doesn't take anything for this to happen.
Yeah,
So I mean, so if they're doing an investigation, how they did it last year, totally different this year. And if they do something, if they don't do it a certain way, then, oh yeah, no, states.
but I think that makes sense, Gail, having that go up.
Yeah,
That'd be-
Kevin Gino did a sobriety thing in Killington and they got fined like 40 grand for it, how they handled it by the state. They didn't do it right.
No.
Wait, the state find itself,
The state fined the sheriff's
the
department,
sheriff's department, not the state trooper.
right,
Hmm.
because the way they did it.
So no more sobriety checkpoints.
Can you imagine? I mean, and I didn't know this and found out that when they set up a sobriety checkpoint, they have to give you a way out.
Yeah, you didn't know
No, that is ridiculous.
Right. But in terms of this general budget, I don't- any questions?
Nope.
No. All right, so we can approve this one tonight, if we're all comfortable with it.
So
Yep.
this is probably a good time to have a new business.
Yeah,
We have separate the annual organization lot. On the
Oh,
town
yeah.
meeting ballot, so if that's the case, then they would come out of the budget.
yeah,
So,
Be voted on, and then it would get added back into the total that we calculate the taxes.
yeah.
And it's attended a webinar yesterday on writing warnings for a town meeting.
Mm,
And so there's many towns separate them out.
Yep.
This town has the policy of if it's been approved once, it gets put in.
Yep.
I would like to see what the voters have to say.
Yeah,
And-
and
and-
every once in
Yeah.
a while,
That's a great
I
idea.
would say
Yeah.
not do it every year, but it
Right.
is the select board's decision.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not-
no, I'd
not
like
do
to,
it.
I'd like to
Um,
do that.
just to.
Can we put it
means that
on-
At town meeting night, we have more,
More to
Numbers to
discuss
count.
about, yeah.
but other than that, it's,
I think this year, having that decision be up to the voters.
it's
I
not a
feel
voter's
comfortable.
decision. It's not a decision voters have any authority to make.
But
It's
we
a
can at
select
least
board
find out
decision.
their opinion on it. If they want to have to vote on each individual item or.
Well, that would be a question you could ask Tuesday night
Yeah,
at the.
Yeah, no, I
town
think we should
meeting,
ask
see
that
what-
Tuesday night at the town meeting, because I think I think just revisiting the line items there is a good
or having
idea.
it be like, it's for a period of time, like,
Right,
it's not that we have to vote on everyone every year. It's
Right,
Like
just-
every 3 years
ju-
or every
just once
5
in a
years,
while,
they
just
get
have it
re-voted on.
That's not a
Reviewed.
bad idea, is that every 3 years, you just run it right through.
Yep.
It's kind of a compromise between both ways.
Right.
And that way, people can say, and that way, if the town eliminates something, then and then it doesn't get
Mhm.
just pushed
Mhm.
away.
Yeah.
And then.
And then you go back
set
to a
that up.
couple of years of just,
right, normal.
approving it, and then every couple of years. That's a very good idea.
Because it is, I mean, they went through this whole thing about what voters have authorities to vote on.
Mm.
and
Mhm.
some People vote on things that,
They don't
It's-
need to
it's
vote
a-
on.
well, they
Right.
have no authority. It can be non-binding. The select board doesn't have to do it.
Right.
But it's just.
Yeah.
It's,
Right,
Those are budget.
they're trying to get
We
things,
we have authority to vote on
Yeah.
everything.
yes.
I mean, they may not have
Right.
authority, but it helps inform the select
Mhm.
board on what
the
No,
people,
the
what
community
people
we're
want.
We do have
representing.
authority, we should be what we want to vote it.
So this year, I don't really know how to make that transition happen. Like, do we,
All you have to do is the select board decide that it's all gonna be on the warning.
Right.
It says, shall voters appropriate X amount of dollars to the Timoth Fire Department for
yes,
fire protection?
but if we're gonna, right, it's like, if we're gonna do it like, how do you make it a staggered system and like,
That's what you say in your motion. You say, we're gonna try it this year. If people like it, fine. If they don't like it, we can do it every 3 years, every 5 years. You can't bind a future select board
Right.
next year. If that's what they
Right.
want to do it again, they have that authority.
So we do it this year
Mhm.
that way.
Yep. I'm on board with that.
Mhm.
So figure out how to make that motion.
I don't know what the motion is.
What would it be? Making a motion to apply,
Add each line item to this year's,
Annual allotments would
Yeah.
be voted
Yep.
as individual articles.
Yes, that. And so we don't want to bring this to the voters. We don't want to, we're gonna talk about it next Tuesday, but are we deciding to pull those out now? Or are we gonna wait until after that meeting to make
I'd
that
like to pull them
decision?
out now. I'm really curious what the public, what the residents, the voters have to say.
Seems like a nice courtesy.
Mhm.
Well, see, they already did decide, that's why they're in.
But
Right.
that was
Then
several
you
years.
changed
Yeah.
people.
That was
Yes.
a long time ago.
Yes.
Some of these things
But
have been
the
out
other
there for a
thing that
long time.
happened was like with the library or with the fire department, they came and said why. So if no one knows why we give it to the.
right,
The women's shelter,
right.
then they may not. But one of those people should be said that we may be changing it, if they wanna come to town meeting and say something about why. they
Right.
want
Yeah, no, I
people.
think-
Well,
So if we wait, we can wait to approve this budget and also until that meeting. And then we can, if there's a lot of feedback that we decide to do it, have it, I don't know, differently.
Well, I think you have a motion on the floor to separate it out right
Yeah.
now. Just do that.
For this,
year
for,
and,
yes,
you
For
know,
this year.
And then you
Yes.
get feedback.
Yep.
Okay.
Without town meeting, there isn't an opportunity for organizations to present their case to the town.
we moved away from that. One of the reasons we put things in the budget was people were coming to town meeting and spending 2 hours talking about $50 for here, or $50 for there. So the select board said, once they're approved, they go in. And now the process is, if somebody wants to get on the warning, they come to the select board decides whether it goes on the warning for the first time.
And I would disagree with that anyway, because we have the Tales, we have French Porch Forum. I would
Now.
think that if, you know, XYZ wants to say, hey, give me $20 and here's why, there still needs to inform the voters of this is what the town's $20 would be going towards.
How about uploading the organizational annual reports to the website?
No,
I mean, that would be fine, except our website is, that'll come up later. I can't find it right now. But I guess my only concern is just like, this is a big change, which is fine. But it feels like we do have this community meeting on Tuesday. We could at least have the meeting, talk about this to transition, still make this transition happen, but, you know, just talk about it with the community.
Right,
Right, that's one of the
Reasons we're
for
doing this
meeting
meeting,
is
right?
to explain changes in the budget,
right.
you know. One of the things I think I want you to do, this is jumping ahead too, is ask them when they want their informational meeting.
Yeah.
You know, the night before or the Saturday before, or
Yeah.
we have to have it within 10 days. you
Yeah.
know, If we can get more people to come.
And that's
Yeah.
these people, if they wish to come and say that the between these
But
organizations to come.
and maybe I'm jaded, but I kind of view them as politicians, and politicians do a very good job of saying, hey, come vote for me. So I would think the organizations could take that same opportunity to say, hey, we do
This is
X,
what we
Y, Z,
yeah.
we do great things, give us $50.
Right,
There are some towns that make all these organizations get petitions every single year. I mean, we don't do that.
Yeah.
The select board is choosing to put them on the ballot without having anybody.
right, but revisiting it is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
Let the individual voters revisit it and, you know.
Yeah.
And if something doesn't get approved, then it gets knocked off. That's fine.
And they can petition and, you know, have
Yeah.
it voted again next year, but. that's-
So,
So do we still need to have a line in our current budget for
No,
this
that 40
allotment?
That 46,000 comes out,
Okay,
but you make a note that if all the allotments are approved and the paving extra, you probably get authorized doing that, right, 25,000 for paving.
Yeah.
That amount gets added to the total budget, so. We can do a
For 2025.
scenario, a scenario that says if both of these are approved, this is how much your taxes would go up. In addition, because now the budget's gonna go down 46,000.
right, which is like, you know,
So you
I,
have to explain that and say,
yeah,
in addition, just remember that if you're voting yes for this budget,
yeah,
Right,
I mean, don't forget, property taxes are projected to go up 18% this year.
that's
Like-
a school tax.
That's the school tax, like,
Right.
that's like. It may not seem like $50 is a big thing, but it may also
it
be
adds
like,
up.
it adds up, you know, like. Pennies add up,
yeah, my tax is already $6,000, so.
give us the option.
was a motion made?
Yes.
You made a motion? Did you second that motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi. All right. We've done that.
I am gonna put another thing on Front Porch Forum about meeting on the 16th.
Okay, great.
I'd wait until tomorrow, the next day, just. You tell them too far ahead, you get to that.
Yeah,
And if you don't get it in on time on Front Porch Forum, doesn't get published. so.
doesn't get published. All right, so that was just approving doing that. Now, having done that, we can approve this budget. Correct? Anybody have anything else? Or would you like to go forward with this?
We can improve 2025.
You're gonna approve the new general budget.
The general budget,
Uh,
yeah, not the highway, just the general part.
Right, you did the highway, tentatively,
Tentatively approved highway.
just in case I discover something like.
Would you, yeah, I mean, you know. It would be good to have that, yeah.
It'd help, well, if I put this number in right. It's 221,850.
I will make a motion that we approve the budget. General budget. 221,850.
I will second it.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Um. End of year highway balance, this is the Potter's Brook, which
That was the
we found over.
Yep.
$5,691.52.
Yep.
Which is.
Yep.
Going to revise how much the. Highway was over. I didn't complete it because I thought Eric was gonna come in and look through that $38,000 worth of.
Right.
Gravel, and he changed his mind, but he didn't tell me, so I didn't complete that, but I'll
That's
have it for
okay.
you on
Non Tuesday, that's fine. We have a grant application policy to review and possibly,
Yes, I'm hoping you review it and think about it and maybe adopt it in.
I thought it looks good. Yeah,
Wallingford has it, it's just.
Yeah.
It's a good idea to have it so that, I mean, we have more committees now that are trying to
Yeah.
raise money and it's like where they should know if they're gonna have to. fund.
Yes.
So I, Wallingford was very generous and gave me theirs, so they went
Nice.
through and changed.
Right.
Town of
Yeah.
Wallingford, the town of Tinmouth, and the administrative assistant to the select board assistant. So. But other than that, and
Yeah.
who's gonna sign it, so.
right.
So if you're happy with it, you've read it all.
Yeah,
you can
I,
do it Tonight or you can.
I
do
thought it looked good. Yeah,
I did read.
it. Is somebody moving it?
I'll make a motion that we say approve, accept, or
Adopt.
adopt the Town of Tinmouth grant policy. I will second that. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
And so I will clean this up by taking out the draft. You
Yeah.
can sign that on Tuesday.
Perfect. All right,
Thank you.
so the CLA. Is there do we still have the option to appeal this?
You can, and I asked the district
Yeah.
advisor if we should or not, and she said, well, if you think you're gonna get your reappraisal done, you don't have to, but if you don't agree with it. And you don't get your reappraisal done, then we're stuck with being at 60%. And so
Hmm,
typically. There's not enough sales,
yeah,
so one or two sales can really skew. How much the difference is in the CLA. So I would say we appeal it, we can always withdraw our appeal if we want to, but.
that sounds great.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm on board with it.
Please appeal.
and-
Yes.
well, there's something you have to sign, I
Yeah.
have that on Tuesday too.
Great.
Who moved it?
We didn't actually
Okay.
make a motion, we just agreed and I'll make a motion that we appeal the CLA. I will second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Because it went from 79 to 60, which was a really big jump. I mean,
Yeah,
last year it went to 70, the appeal that we got was back up to 79, but still a 19-point jump is, I have to look at the sales that they used because it's. One sale at the lake is gonna throw everything off, and that's just one sale.
yeah.
Right.
The
Okay.
ARPA lists.
There's an article list on the back of. The thing that I handed out. Oh. It looks like this. At the beginning, I handed it.
Oh, that one, okay.
Kathy very nicely got the little Google out of there, so now.
I'm not sure where mine went. I think that one's yours. I
So you have
move everything around.
$1,978 allocated.
Word. You go there, right there.
That's down there.
Yep.
So this is request, and I've changed some of them around, took some
Yep.
of the things out. I think the last request from the fire department was 53,000.
Yep.
53,000.
Yep.
And this is what has been approved. This is what has actually been spent.
Yep.
Balance is that 20,000 is the buzz bar that we don't have yet for the
Yep.
mower tractor.
Yep.
So there's that 80,000 be allocated.
Okay.
And down here, I did possible allocations just so you can You can play with those numbers, you can give them to somebody else, you can, whatever. you want.
That's
It's just a place to start.
kind of actually where I was thinking.
Yeah.
Pretty close to what I was thinking. Actually,
You did that before.
I know.
The
Oh.
only question was, I was thinking this would be 10 and that would be 25,000.
what's that?
The capital?
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
I'm,
I didn't hear what you said.
oh, in my mind, this was 10 and that would be 25, but,
what do you,
I was thinking the old creamery was 10 and then we'd put 25 into the capital building fund, but that was
yeah,
just what I had in mind.
The old creamery does have some interior issue. I mean, we would really like to make it habitable for people to actually use at least a portion of that building
Yeah,
to go
So-
inside.
And that's gonna take quite a bit to make that.
So,
room on the side.
my,
The big-
yeah.
big of it.
And what will be so that'll be,
We also have some new kayaks that we're going to be storing in there, so
Right,
it would be nice to have a building that people can walk into safely
yeah,
and have a locked, we have electricity in there now,
Right.
thankfully.
Yeah.
so my was looking at it, was doing the fire department 25, the old creamery 25, the speed feedback 15, capital building fund 10, hold the other.
well, I'm gonna go with Gail's version. Sounds good. But I don't know, like, I think I'm just, who
I'm
knows
taking,
why,
the only reason why I was
it's a
thinking
building,
25
if
for
we
the
pulled from
creamery
the
is because
capital
that
building
back
fund, if we
wall
pulled back
alone
into-
is gonna be expensive.
the capital building fund
the select board
can,
has been reluctant to give the
yeah,
old creamery money from there.
but it could
From-
be, it's a building,
It's a
right?
town building, yes,
Right.
it absolutely
It
is.
is technically a town building that,
And the Old Creamery Committee and the Historical Society has raised over $40,000 for
Right.
what's happened so far.
Yeah, I
Over that
just-
40,000
Yeah.
plus, I think 2,000 of it was tax dollars.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's been a big effort community-wise
Yeah.
to work on that thing, so.
The back wall on that building is gonna soak up a huge
And the
amount.
hold is just like, we
In
will
case
hold
something-
it until,
Something fun comes along or,
yeah,
recreation comes up with something that.
be like
Makes sense.
5,000,
How
yeah,
long can you-
till 2026.
2026.
We have to allocate it by the end of 2024. But you have to spend it by the end of 2026. We can put it into the old creamery. I would probably recommend that we designate that 20,000 for the old creamery, but put it into the building reserve fund. Because you can transfer it to building
Yeah.
reserve funds. You can't create a new reserve fund with the money.
Yeah,
But if you have one established, you can move it into there. The fire department, I think we can just give the fire department their money.
yeah,
And, I think we need more research on the speed cart thing.
Yes,
I don't know if we want a speed cart or the feedback signs
yeah,
now.
right.
And I'm still waiting to hear from Wade Mashur, the guy that did the risk assessment,
yep.
whether we can use any money, a safety grant for to cover some of that.
I mean, I would say we could allocate fire departments, the old creamery at 20. And, put the 15 into the capital building fund and then wait on the speed feedback card and.
Right.
No,
You
is
don't
it-
have to decide
Is
tonight.
the speed, is that buying our own or is that renting the one?
No,
we
it's
shared
buying
out
our
there? Okay,
So it may be cheaper for us to do a cart that we move around town, which
Mhm.
is another idea.
Because the state says those feedback signs are good for a temporary thing, or if you go from one speed to another. But, if you put them on the East Road, it's not, it doesn't have any lasting
unless
effect.
you have an actual cop there.
Yes.
Right.
Well,
Cause when they flash, because there's one next to the Rutland Town School, that when they first put up it's flash blue lights, I'm like, is there a cop just beyond
You
it?
can't do that
no,
anymore.
it's illegal.
It's illegal
Yeah, we
now.
were advised it's illegal.
But going into Woodstock, there's one,
Yeah, but
Mm.
it's
that's.
But they can't.
it's illegal, like, yep.
Oh, yeah, they can.
You can't have any lights on it
So
now,
would
except
it
for
make
the
more sense with that feedback cart to hire the sheriff $15,000 man?
We can't, he doesn't have the people.
He doesn't have
You
the,
can't do 10 hours.
Yeah.
We're trying to get him to school the 10 hours that we have
Okay.
budgeted.
I would,
Yeah.
So we're at least doing 20 on the creamery.
yeah, I would be comfortable doing, you know, allocating tonight, the Timoth Fire Department, their 25, the older creamery 20, and putting 15 into the Capitol Building Fund,
Yeah, I'm good with that.
and then we'd have
Maybe
roughly
sit on the speed card a little bit more.
21,000 left.
we're doing $40,000 worth of restorations, and so you insulating that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would anyone like to make a motion? To do that, to make those allocations?
I'll make a motion to make the allocations. 25 to the fire department, 20 for the old creamery. And then,
15.
so we're doing 15 into the Capitol Building Fund.
Mhm. Those are the only ones I suggested.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, prep for public meeting. We've done some prep work.
We did some already.
what are we gonna practice what we're gonna say?
Well,
Well, it is a select board meeting. You're gonna run it. Hopefully we'll have 30, 40 people there. I'm gonna bring refreshments, so. you know,
Yep.
Bob
Sweet,
Whittingham used to say,
definitely gonna
"Bring
be there.
refreshments and the people will come. So I will have copies of the draft budget. It'll say draft, and that's what you guys approved tonight.
yep,
You can explain any changes or ask for comments. Talk about the informational meeting, talk about holding things separate, and it was. Oh, and are you gonna talk about the?
no, someone else is gonna come and talk about it, yeah. And is this
So
something
that's
that, do we have the moderator come for this, or no, we
No.
just run it? Okay,
You guys can do that. And I will do a little agenda that's got. Whichever order you want those in.
yeah, I mean, we'll talk, the main changes are, right, just that the budget isn't a change, but we'll talk about that, and then decisions we've made this year, and then, you know, there might be some discussion around changing how we are allocating, you know, special funds.
You know,
Oh. Wait, open it up. I wanna make sure they're in there. He put them in his pocket
they're in
a
there.
couple months ago.
I took them home, so.
I
Uh,
couldn't see through them, but I'm back.
Anything else for that meeting? Any other,
Well, on this meeting, we can put other business to the discussions.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody wants to bring something else.
Right.
up, we can.
yeah. Sounds good.
Okay,
And so I guess you can all just sit there and answer questions or.
Right, I mean, that'll
You can-
probably be
Then
what,
I can point to Judy and say, Judy was gonna talk about this.
yeah,
and Kevin, I
I'll
thought
just
you were
put
gonna
you
talk
guys
about
on the
that."
spot.
oh, I gotta do that report for the town report.
There's a report in here that is. You guys had a chance to read
Yeah.
it and have anything
No, I
you
think-
wanna add or subtract?
I thought it looked good.
Do we vote to, do we just agree to, that that's acceptable? We don't, yeah, okay,
Yeah, if they had any changes or anything, then, you know, you get to edit it, but
yeah,
if it's good to go, then it's good to go.
Yeah, no, it's good.
You can agree by consensus.
we agree by consensus. Great. And then we've already talked about separating out the annual organizational elements. Feedback form. Wow, were we through this budget, this agenda?
Oh, I did have a comment, but I can probably wait for February's meeting about our bid process.
Okay,
Just
Yeah.
maybe we could set up a separate email that bids go to if we are thinking of accepting emails, and then
Yeah.
the town clerk would check it the day of the meeting and then see if there are any bids in there. That seems like that might be reasonable, but we could discuss it further at a different meeting.
that sounds good. And then that was, I recently was trying to find something on the town website, and I can't actually find the town website. I know we just switched to .gov.
Yeah. But even if you put in .org.
It still comes
kicks
up.
it To it, yep.
Okay, I could
There-
not find
there
it.
is somebody started a free WordPress one years ago and it hasn't
That's
been
the one that's
updated.
coming up.
Yeah, and for some reason its SEO seems to be ranking higher than ours is.
Yeah.
I don't know who started it, but maybe they could take it.
Well, I
down.
was thinking that because it's different, and I was talking to, someone was saying that like, I think Kathy was saying that it's like, because my computer is used to the old, like, website, it's just not finding the new one. So it might be worth having like the website committee just like put something on Front Porch Forum saying this is the new website with the address. Just so that people can like
Right, but
link to it.
It's supposed to automatically go to.
It doesn't, like, there's no, it doesn't, it's not coming up. I've
Well,
tried.
then
Hi, all.
Oh. Back in town.
Yeah, Nancy,
Yeah, so sometimes when that happens, you have to clear your history.
okay,
And because the site has been redirected to a new address. But
Yep.
also, Judy, it's so funny that you said that because I started creating a new website when Walter Deinzer was going to be leaving before we had Guillaume. So I didn't know that was still there. I'll go find it and get rid of it.
so many, thank you. Well, right. So, like, if it's possible to just have the website link put onto Front Porch Forum for people to just, that's just the easiest way to find the new website. And let people know that it's a new website, like a .gov.
Right, well, whenever I post anything there.
It's
like,
.gov.
in the meetings, it says go to Tim's new website.
Oh, okay.
.gov.
Well, there you go. I
And
just
think
missed
it
that part.
entails too, but.
Entails
we
that
can-
that
we
it was
can
a
put it on
switch
Front
over
Porch
to
Forum
the
then.
new.
But then again, not everybody does Front Porch Forum.
Not everybody does. I
good.
don't always read Tales, so you know. I just recently had that experience and I was like, where did our website go? That's all I had. Does anybody else have any? No, I'm good, thanks.
Nope.
Okay. Miscellaneous correspondence and mail. Executive session. Do either of you feel the need?
No.
Great.
January
Gail,
25th, is that okay to finalize the warning? You guys get together for a few minutes
Yeah.
then?
I think that makes a lot of sense. I will not be here February 8th. I'll have surgery the day before, so you two will have to run the show. But I believe in you. We'll have done everything, so that meeting shouldn't really have that much to it. We'll have already approved everything.
I don't know, I already know of 2 things on that agenda.
True, there'll be other things to do, but.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we adjourn?
That's it.
I will say we adjourn this meeting at 9:13. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you all.
Have a good night.
And I didn't take
Lots
any.
of bunch of people there.
Yeah.
It's on record that I will not.
And the camera, the owl probably saw you, that. Turn this on, they're next to me in the comments. Keeps recording.